welcome to Exercise Your Thumbs, and to the first of our release rating roundups, this one for games released on the 31st of January 2014. The idea behind this video is to give quick rating information for new releases and kind of highlight the content that they have so you can think about whether they're appropriate for the young people in your family. It's pretty light this week. There are only 3 releases that I'm going to be talking about. The first of which is Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Full Burst. This is available on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. It's currently rated 12, and this is for non-realistic violence towards human characters, mild bad language, swearing, violence, and it's also got some online capabilities as well. This is a fighting game. It's a 2-player game where you can either fight against a computer opponent or against a human opponent, very much like Double Dragon, Mortal Kombat, games of that kind of nature. I have a link into the game's website in the comments section at the bottom of this video. So 12 rating, so that is the lowest of the legally enforceable ratings from PEGI. You get 3 and 7, which are advisory ratings. There is no legal requirement for the person using that game to be of those ages. But 12 is the first one where it is an offence, a legal offence, for a retailer to supply that game to anyone they know is under the age of 12. So what PEGI's put: non-realistic violence towards human characters, mild bad language, swearing, violence, and non-aligned action, which is where they've given it the 12 rating. Another big release for this week is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Now, I have already done quite a comprehensive content review on Tomb Raider when it was released for PS3, PC and Xbox 360 last year. It is an 18 rated game. It contains violence, strong language and online components. I will put a link to the original YouTube video, the content review that I did for Tomb Raider, as well as a link to some online comparisons so you can see how the game plays. This is an unremittingly violent game. It has very, very strong 4-letter language throughout, and the online component of it is multiplayer, kind of a death matches or team death matches, which is where either you're all trying to compete against each other, or there are two teams trying to compete against each other. But it is very definitely 18 rated. It's not the Tomb Raider of old. It has very adult themes, not just in terms of violence, but in terms of emotional violence in places as well. So it is 18, which, again, like the 12, is a legally enforceable rating, and I certainly wouldn't recommend, having played it myself, anyone under that age to be involved with it. The final roundup we're going to talk about today is an odd little title called Octodad Dadliest Catch. It's being released today on the 31st of January on PC, Mac and Linux, and it will get a release on PlayStation 4 later in the year. I have been unable to find any kind of rating information on this game at all. I've no idea why, but it seems to be that on PEGI it's not even listed, although it is available to buy on the Steam network already, and there are no rating informations available on Steam either. Having looked at the game and having seen content, and I will have a link to the website here, I can't tell you what rating it is, but it's a pretty innocuous game. It's a weird concept. You play an octopus who is trying to pass himself off as a human being, who has a wife and children, and the game is you convincing your wife, your children and your colleagues at work that you are not an octopus, but in fact a human being. A very odd concept, but certainly from reading what Steam says about it, it is encouraging families to get together and cooperate on the game. So I would imagine it is a game that is not going to be rated particularly highly. Certainly I doubt very much whether it be a 12, 15 or 18, which are the legally enforceable ones. I think it's more likely to land into the 7 category. Again, I can't guarantee that because there is no information available on the internet about it. But having looked at the game myself, obviously there will be a link to the website so you can check it out as well. My suggestion is that this is a game that's going to be suitable for younger children, because it's an octopus in a suit, so you know, what can you say about that? Those are the only 3 games that are being released this week. Again, there's a very small number of games being released next week as well, so the next roundup will be relatively brief. After that, we get into February and March, which traditionally do have a number of they're very popular times for companies to release games, so we'll probably find that picks up to 6 or 7 titles a week going forward. But essentially, Naruto Shippuden, a fighting game, 12 rated. Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, 18 rated. and Octodad has not got any ratings that I can find as yet, but looking at it, it's going to be in the kind of 3 to 7 kind of category. Please have a little look at the links I give you. That'll give you insight into how the games play. And also, I've got the content video that I've done for Tomb Raider when it was released back last year on PlayStation 3 and Xbox. So have a look at that, and that will give you an information on my take on what the game is and why it deserves its 18 rating. I hope you found this little roundup useful. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll speak to you again next week. Thank you.